So Wake Up with Bret and Julie, and it was 2 years ago today. It was the last time I ever spoke to my mom.
Wow, that is a crazy thought to even.
Just like
It's
process,
hard to
like, oh my God.
wrap your mind around that.
Yeah, and it's hard to like even like fathom, like, oh my God, it's been 2 years, because it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
I relived this day over and over and over again because it's the last time I ever heard her talk. And so a couple of things in the backstory about my mom is we lost her to dementia 2 years ago. And this has kind of been a long-term journey with her, but she drastically started to get really sick really quickly towards the end. Like the past year was pretty hard for her. And I started to realize that it was weird as it may sound, it might have been in her best interest, because she probably wouldn't have survived COVID and everything that was going on, being in a home or anything like that. And so people understand my mom. My mom was never on the internet. My mom died never going on. She has no idea who Kim Kardashian was. And so I even think that like same journey, it was hard for her because she was such a unique personality. She just wanted to be a mom and wanted to be a grandma, lived in her own bubble, and would have no clue that the country was divided in politics. That wasn't her. So even when like they would test for dementia stuff, like what day of the week is it? She'd be like, I don't know. I don't care about these type of things.
Oh yeah.
So it was really hard for them to even diagnose my mom because she was such an interesting personality. And we started losing who she was as a person. And when I went back, the last day I wanted to share with you because it was such a powerful moment. My mom had gotten so sick that she became like almost nonverbal. And I had started flying. I was living in Texas at the time. And I was starting to fly in like once a month or every other week so I could spend time with her. And one of the last times I flew in, she was sleeping almost the whole day. My dad's like, yeah, she's been sleeping almost the whole day. And we kind of knew the end was near. They were cutting up watermelon chips, like little small pieces just to feed her. And so I could see it, and she couldn't talk. The only things that she would say, because she was so lost in her mind, was she would repeat my dad's name because I think she loved my dad with so much might. She'd be like, Bill, Bill.
That's sweet.
And she'd be like, help me, help me. The only two things she would repeat. And it was hard. It was hard to hear and see my mom. Like she was the strongest person. And now I see my wife as a mom and how my son looks at her. That's how I looked at my mom. Like she was my support. She was the person who understood me. She was the person I went to for comfort and to make me laugh. And to see my mom just helpless laying there. Dang.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's hard to see your parents like that anyway, because they're always the people that take care of you.
Right.
And then when they get to the point where you're taking care of them.
Yeah. And so I went to go say goodbye to her that whole weekend. She only repeated those two sayings, never said another word, slept 99% of the time. I was going to catch the flight. It was just me and my wife and my mom in the room. And I have this saying, never give up. I'm kind of hard-headed and I don't believe in giving up. And I would always push my mom never to give up. And there was a part of me that thinks that she held on to hear me talk to her, because I grabbed her by her hand and I looked her in the eye and I said, Mom, it's okay to let go.
Oh.
I said, Mom, it's okay. We love you. I said, I love you. You gave me everything you needed.
Yeah.
Like you loved me with every bit of you. And I told her it's okay to go to God. And my mom had just had this blurry face. Out of nowhere, she squeezes my hand so tight. And for a second, you could see like the color back in her eyes. She directly makes contact with me and she says, I love you.
Wow.
She had said nothing else that weekend. And I had this like magical moment. And I think we lost her 4 days later. And that was it. That was like my last moment with her. One of the biggest regrets I had from that moment is from September 8th to September 12th when we lost her, I never FaceTimed her.
So you left town?
Yeah, I left, had that moment, and I never like called her again.
Because you didn't know it was going to happen.
Well,
You're just going back home.
Honestly, I think I did know that like this was my goodbye with her. And I had that moment with her. I had this I love you moment. And there's a part of me that feels like I should have been there. Like my dad, my brother were there when she died, and I didn't FaceTime in. And I just feel like, I don't know, did she think I wasn't there for her? I like kind of wrestle with it on my head all the time. I just really do like beat myself up over it all the time. Like maybe I should, like with all the technology we have, she could have known that I was there for her. I don't know.
She knew.
No, she knew. And having lost my own mother, not being there when she passed away, I mean, just the fact that you had that amazing goodbye says so much about not only you, but her and her love for you. I can remember, being on the phone, my younger brother's there, and my mom was, passing away in Florida. And, it's one of those things that you kind of know, and you get to say your goodbye, and you kind of know that they know the love's there. And it kind of gave you, in a way, not just an incredible story, but just a great way to remember your mom and a great way to say goodbye.
I know, and there's part of me that feels like I did have that, and so like I didn't want to lose it. And
Right.
I knew it was going to be special.
Mm-hmm.
That was this connection we have, and I just constantly go, man, should I have just FaceTimed in those final moments? Did she know I was present in those final moments, even though I wasn't there?
Oh yeah, I feel like she knew, and I mean, I firmly believe that whenever we pass away, we go to heaven or whatever you want to call it, to a place full of love. And I don't think spirits or people who have passed on, I don't think they want us to regret anything ever. I think they want us just to be happy and live our life and feel joy. And you had such a beautiful moment with her.
Yes.
That gives me goosebumps just even thinking about that she could muster up enough of her being nonverbal and tell you that she loves you, and you see that glimmer in her eye. And I think that's the moment she wanted to have with you, and that you were meant to go back home and you were meant to live life the way you were so you could have this last piece with her.
Thank you. One of the last things I want to play this little clip from this new song that came out from Ed Sheeran. It just came out like a week and a half ago, and I really feel like the song was written for me because one of my other biggest regrets is all she wanted to do was be a mom and be a grandma. She would always constantly hit my wife up like, when are you guys gonna have kids? When are you gonna have kids? And so she never got to meet my kids, and that's what Ed Sheeran is literally almost talking about in this song.
I wish the heaven had visiting hours, so I could just show up and bring the news that she's getting older. And I wish that you met her. The things that you learned from me, I got them all from you.
And I literally feel like the song was written for me. She never got to be my son, but everything I teach my son, I've learned from my mom.
Oh,
Wow.
well, she met him. They always meet them up in heaven before they come down here. They always do. Don't you ever watch Psychics? They always meet them.
I do believe that. I think she gave him a kiss and said, go down there, because my mom always said, I hope you have a son just like you. And I think my son is. He's really curious and adventurous, and he's just like me and silly. And so, Mom, I think you got your wish, and I love you so much.
Oh.